everyone, Gail from Woolswap. How are you? It's been a while, I know. And if you've been following me on my socials, you would have realised that I actually, a few months back, moved all the way from across Australia, from Brisbane to Perth in Western Australia, and then my partner and I just recently purchased a house, so we've been super busy over the Christmas and the holiday period, getting that all organised, and we're finally getting there. So hey, I'm back. So yeah, so I want to just pop on and just to introduce my first video for the year, and it's a Woolswap Chat episode, and I am, this time around, I'm interviewing the lovely Cindy from Cindy Marie Creates, who's from Canada, and she very kindly sat down with me the other day, and we did a short informal interview. So I hope you like that, and that's coming up next, so stay tuned. And also just a quick reminder that the first round of Woolswap will be open on March the 1st. So I'm so excited to get that up and running again this year, and I hope to see a whole heap of new Woolswappers and regular Woolswappers on board. So yeah, so if you're interested in that, I'll put a link below. And anyway, without further ado, just sit back, grab a cuppa or a wine or whatever beverage you want to do, grab your knitting. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the interview with Cindy, and I'll be back at the end of the video. So catch you then. Hi everyone, it's Gail from Woolswap. How you going? I just wanted to pop on today because I'm interviewing the lovely Cindy from Cindy Marie Creates, and she's coming to us from Leduc in Alberta, Canada. And yeah, we're just going to have a bit of a chat. She's an Indie Dyer. She's been a long-term Woolswapper. And so, yeah, okay. So, Cindy, how are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good, good. And so, where are you, you're Leduc? Tell us where it's situated, or...
We are about 15 minutes south of Edmonton, Alberta, with Edmonton being the capital of Alberta. So
Yeah.
yeah, we are just south of Edmonton, Alberta, and yeah, little tiny town, about 30,000 people. So that's where
And
we are.
you've got snow there, right?
We have snow, but we've had a nice little warm spurt now, but now it's going to go into a deep freeze again. So we're going down to minus 20 Canadian Celsius.
Oh, so in case everyone doesn't know, I've actually, I was living in Brisbane, but I've moved to Perth in Western Australia. So we are hot today. We're 33 degrees. So it's
I'm jealous. I
complete
am
opposite.
jealous.
The complete opposite. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so what inspired you to be an indie dyer, and how long have you been doing it?
Oh, actually, I love this little story. Too bad I don't have the piece with me here right now.
Oh,
So, I was gifted a yarn a number of years ago, probably about 7, 8 years ago. And it was this beautiful, very variegated, very multi-patterned yarn. And I'm like, what am I going to make with this? And I really wanted to put something denim-y with it, like kind of like a denim blue type thing.
yeah.
And I took my skein of yarn, went into the local yarn shops here in Edmonton, had my little skein, and nothing would match it to what I really wanted. And I was just having a bugger of a day trying to get this matched. And I was at the Fiber Nook in Edmonton, Alberta, and the gentleman there looked at me. He says, "Well, why don't you just dye your own yarn?" I'm like, "What?" He said, "Just dye your own yarn." I'm like, "How do I do that?" He says, "Well, here's the raw yarn," because they sold it there.
Oh, yeah,
And he said,
cool.
just go on Amazon and YouTube it. And I'm like, okay. I literally came home that day. Like, this is about 5 or 6 years ago now. I came home that day, Googled it, YouTubed it, Amazon the dye. 3 or 4 days later, I had my first bit of dye, and I'm like, here we go. This is, we get what we get. And I dyed my first piece, knit it up, and never looked back.
Oh, wow.
Loved it. So I'm like, yeah, that is literally how I got into yarn dyeing.
So is it your full-time job? No, you do something else?
It is not my full-time job. I am a full-time EA, and I also have a part-time job in a little local yarn shop just
Oh,
outside of Edmonton, actually.
I would love that.
And she teaches me so much, and I've learned so much from her. So yeah, that's kind of, but the yarn dyeing is definitely my passion.
Yeah.
Definitely where I'd love to be.
Yeah. Isn't it great? Yeah.
I
That's
know
fantastic.
it's
And she's got some lovely skeins behind her, I see. So
oh
you
yeah.
can kind of get an idea. And I'll
This
be
is
putting, oh,
this
sorry,
is some of them.
some of them. And I'll be putting links below to Cindy's shop as well. So you'll be able to go suss her out. But yeah, she's got some amazing stuff. Okay, cool. All right. So how do you choose your colors?
Well,
You got a variety of
um,
colors there.
a lot of times it's mood. Some of them are I'm drawn to the very dark colors, and a lot of my family and friends and people in my yarn world and all that stuff go like, you gotta lighten up a little bit, you know. But I love those dark, moody colors, and I get them from scrolling from through Pinterest.
Yeah.
A lot of my colors come from my experiences just in life. I do a lot of hiking. I'm a big avid skier. I'm outdoors a lot.
Yeah.
So I take a lot from what I see outside.
Yeah.
My camera is always with me, whether it's my phone or my big camera. And I'm going like, oh, that would be a beautiful colorway. And I'll take a picture and
Yeah.
then I'll work with it from there. But literally, a lot of them come from just my life experiences.
Yeah.
And then my children, I have three daughters,
Yeah.
and lots of times my girls would go, Mom, can you make a purple something? I'm like, okay, let's talk. And then we'll talk about what shades and
Yeah.
what they want their purple to look like, and
Yeah.
off we go. So yeah,
That's great.
that's where they literally come from everywhere and
Yeah.
anywhere.
I love it because it's got such a personal touch to it, and it's not just, oh, I'll just chuck stuff in and hope for the best. You've got a story by the sounds of it behind each one that you.
Lots of times the colors do have a story. And like yeah, most of them they do have a story. There's yeah, the story does come with a lot of them.
Yeah.
I really need to find the time to sit down and do a blog where I have a story behind the colorway,
Yeah.
because like for instance this one here, which is called prairie wheat fields, and where I live, farming is huge up here, and there's canola fields everywhere in this,
Yeah.
and wheat fields,
Yeah.
and the wheat and the Alberta blue sky and the wheat fields in the summertime,
Yeah.
that's what I saw.
Yeah.
That's, you know, so
I think people like that. Like, well, I know I get excited when I order something online and it comes in, and sometimes, not very often, but there is an odd little, someone will write a little story about how they made that colorway. And I love that because, you know,
yep.
makes you stand out, I think,
Oh, good. Thank you.
out from the crowd.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Um,
trying.
yeah, yeah. And what makes your yarns unique? What kind of,
Uh, my yarns are unique in the fact that I think that they are all personal. Like
yeah,
when I dye a yarn, I have a purpose for it.
yeah,
Like I see that as, oh my gosh, that would be the most beautiful little girl's, like 2-year-old's little summer dress. Or oh my gosh, that is going to make the most beautiful caplet or
yeah,
shawl. Or um like I'll see something and I go like, okay, that's going to be a really good, beautiful pair of mittens.
yeah,
That that's where when I dye yarn, like I said, I get my inspiration from everywhere and everywhere. But
yeah,
when I have my final product, I'm going like, oh, I can see this skein as a vest. I
yeah,
can see this skein as, oh, I really want to make that colorway as a sweater.
yeah,
Or oh my god, that would go perfect in this pattern.
yeah,
Like I can that I don't dye yarn to just put it out. I
yeah,
dye yarn in my own head with a purpose of, oh my gosh, that's going to make a gorgeous whatever.
yeah.
You know, that's where I go with.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks.
Um, Okay, so what knitting project are you working on? Or crochet?
Yeah.
Want to talk about? Or if you
Do you
like
want the
me.
short? Do you want the short version or do you want the long?
Oh my God. I'm only going to show one today, so I've got a
Oh my
million.
goodness.
I've got
I
heaps.
I have literally, I think I have right now, I have three downstairs at my chair, which is in the living room chair.
Yeah.
I have I have one right here. I'll show you this one in a second. And I have two large reusable bags next to me that have got about seven more projects in them. I'm so bad for
I know.
it's,
You
but
know,
I'm
we're
determined.
so alike. We are so alike.
I I am determined 2023 is going to be the year I'm going to finish everything.
Yeah, me too. I have about
So,
20, I have about 23.
okay, you're worse than me.
So I'm determining to finish everything, but except I
Yes.
did cast on something yesterday. Gosh.
Good for you. I almost did today. I almost cast on some, and I mean, like, I have all this yarn that I'm dying, you know, I dyed to sell, but I'm going like, oh, that would be nice. This, and I'm like,
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
of
not,
course you
I'm
can.
not casting that on until I finish these. And it's
Yes.
like, but what if it sells? And I don't know.
That's okay. You can remake it.
True, that's true. But right now, this is the closest one I have to me.
Oh,
This
yeah.
one here is it's called Fiesta. It is literally, it's just an oblong scarf. I wanted to always make one of these really long that you just keep wrapping around.
Yep.
And
Perfect. So
I
no,
discovered,
so no pattern, just your own pattern.
it is my own pattern. There's a little tiny bit of a lace edging on the right here. It's kind of hard to see.
Oh, yeah.
And it's literally, so this one here is one skein, for 63 meters
Yep.
of fingering. And then here's the black one,
Yep.
which is going to be the other half, and I am
So you nearly finished it by the looks of it, are you?
this close.
Oh, so you just knit until you get to the end and that's it.
I knit till I either run out of stitches, and I am so close because I'm decreasing every row.
Yep.
So I'm either going to run out of stitches or I'm going to run out of yarn. So
Perfect. So a two skein shawl. Cool.
two skein shawl, and I discovered these beautiful leather shawl holders
Oh,
last year. They
oh wow.
they are so nice. And I
Oh,
have a
cool.
bunch of different, like, you just tie them which way around you want to tie
So who
them.
makes those? I can
Um
give them a plug. Who are they?
they are, put my glasses on because I am of that age. Um they are Pearl and Hank, and they're from Manitoba, Alberta, by the way. Pearl, Purl, and Hank, Hank.
Okay.
And they have a number of different little beautiful leather things.
Yeah, cool. I'll put their link down below, folks. So I'll find them and
And
put their
like,
link down below.
and this one here is just a big button.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big leather button.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is so, and it just screws in. You just, so you keep your shawls on. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
so I discovered those last year, and loved them.
Yeah.
Loved them. So
Oh,
I had to make something to use my new shawl clips.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, thanks for sharing that because
Yeah.
I always love hearing about new stuff and I'm sure my viewers do as well. So
Great.
great. Okay. Oh, are you going to show one more? Any other knitting projects?
Everything else is downstairs.
Ah, that's all right. I'll quickly show mine.
Yes. What are you doing? What are you making?
So I have been knitting a cardigan that I started in, June 2020. So I'm
Ooh, I have
determined to
one
get
too.
I'm
Mhm.
determined to get that finished, but I'm just having a little break because I'm doing the scrappy socks because I knit a lot of socks. I don't know if you've looked at my stuff, but yeah. So I cast on just a new pair of scrappy socks yesterday.
Oh, look at that's a gorgeous green.
Isn't it? So I have
That
this.
is so pretty.
So in all my unpacking and organizing all my yarn, I found this little jar that has just the little tiny little bits that are way under 10 grams. And I seem to have an addiction for minis and just these little things. So I'm just randomly picking out of the jar and just going to do it finishes.
Grab a ball.
Yeah.
And
because a girl cannot have enough socks. I have heaps.
No.
I love socks.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And yeah, my cardigan's not here. So
that green is gorgeous.
I don't know where it came from, but yeah, it's nice. Feel free to.
Very bright, very pretty.
It's got like dark bits in it too, so a little bit
just yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where it came from, but so that's what I'm doing. Okay. So that's okay. So how did you learn to knit or crochet?
Well, my mother, she's passed on now, but my mother was a huge crafter. My mother was a major big quilter. She did amazing hand quilts, but she also knit and crocheted her whole life as well. Like I watched her do it as well of the whole time.
Perfect.
Both my grandmothers knit. One of my grandmothers was blind, but knit all the time.
Wow. That's pretty
Even
cool.
though she was blind, she could still knit. Not a problem. It never slowed her down. And my mom's mom, who was a knitter all the time, never ever had a pattern. She's the one who showed me how to turn a heel. Yeah. No pattern, no written, no nothing. Just here, do it this way. And I was, I'm going to say 7, 8 years old when I learned how to knit the first time.
Yeah.
And then my childhood best friend's mother taught me how to crochet when I was about 12 years old. And I'm like, well, this is way easier and faster. Right. And we started crocheting Christmas ornaments.
Oh, yeah.
And it just took off from there. And I do both constantly. Like I always have a crochet project on a hook, and I also always have a knitting project on needles. I always have both going.
Oh my God. So we've got a similar story. I learned to knit around when I was 8, and my mum was an avid knitter. And I can show you, I don't mind. I actually was, when doing all my unpacking, I came across a little baby photo of me with a hand knitted jumper.
Oh my gosh, that is so sweet.
And I just showed my mum, because my mum lives in New Zealand, and I just showed her today. Actually, I talk to her every Sunday morning. And I said, do you remember knitting this? And she said, yes, I do. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, between my mum and my grandma, they taught me to knit. And so I rampantly knit, all the way through my teens, and only ever did like jumpers or scarves, or I might have tried some mittens once or something, and beanies.
Yep.
And then I stopped throughout my 20s, and then probably late 30s I got back into it and kind of been knitting ever since. And then I discovered sock knitting. I was like, who would have thought? Yes. And I had no idea that you had skeins of yarn like you've got hanging up there, and because I only ever knit the ball and never any Indie dyed yarn or anything like that.
Yep.
So then I became madly fascinated with knitting socks, and then just never looked back. So love it. But crocheting for me is another story, because my mum was crocheted all the time as well as knitting, and she tried to teach me, and I went, oh, I just can't do that. And I've never, and to be honest, I've got too much yarn, too many projects I want to do, so I'm just not going to go down that rabbit hole.
Because there's no such thing as too much yarn or too many projects.
No, I guess
no,
I guess not. So so I'm only knit, but so we've got a similar story.
Yes, do. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so what do you you did touch on this briefly before, but what do you like to do in your downtime?
Well, I am definitely an outdoors person. I've been skiing my whole life, ever since I was a young child. Actually, my children so I'm originally from Newfoundland, Canada,
Yeah.
and from a little tiny town called Steadybrook, which is actually at the base of a very nice, large-ish
Yeah.
ski resort. So both of my daughters learned how to ski like when they were 2, like
Yeah.
very, 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 as soon as they could walk, they were on
Yeah.
skis.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I'm an avid skier. So living here, we've got 4 hours drive away. We've got beautiful ski hills. We've got Lake Louise. We've got Banff. We've got the massive skis, and then we've got BC just like right next to it. So I do as much skiing as I can get to. Hiking is another big thing that I love. So in the summertime, my girlfriend, my best friend and I, we paddleboard. Whenever we can find a body of water, we're on a board somewhere.
Cool.
But my husband and I, we are both bikers, so we ride motorcycles everywhere. So before the pandemic hit, we were doing big trips to the States. We did the California coast. We went all the way down to Yellowstone one year. So in the summertime, whenever when he gets his block of time off, we're on our motorcycles and we're gone. So
and do you have plans for this year? Where are you going?
Yes. Right now, so my oldest daughter lives in North Vancouver, and I have a really good friend who lives over there. She's also a biker, so we're gonna go. We are gonna go over that way and ride over that way for a little bit. But this year, if all the stars align, we're gonna go to. He just tells me where we're going. I believe it's Colorado. I follow him. But I believe it's Colorado that we're going to head to this summer. So we take all the back roads and we go get lost in the mountains on our motorcycles. That's our favorite thing to do in the summer.
So you're so lucky that you can just drive into or ride into another country where we have to get on a plane to go.
Oh yeah. But getting back to knitting and yarn and all that stuff. So I am a rider. I'm a biker.
Yeah.
My knitting is the number one thing that gets packed in my motorcycle every time I go.
Yes, perfect.
The first couple of times we went, he's like, space is at a like we're going for 3 weeks. You need to we can't take that much. I'm like, if my knitting's not going, I'm not going. Right.
I know my partner Dean and I traveled in 2016-17. We took off for 12 months and we went round the world. Well, not round the world. We didn't make it to America or Canada. I've never been to Canada. I've been to the US a couple of times, but I had a dilemma because I had to pack a year's worth of knitting. But anyway,
you could just buy it along the way too.
Well, I did that as well. But I managed to get one of those big kind of vacuum seal bags.
Oh, right.
Took the air out of it and I put it in the bottom of my suitcase. And there was a few times when we were packing up each travel. We stayed a month in each place, but a few times Dean would go, well, if you didn't have all this yarn, and I'm like, oh, but I've got
you look and you say, no.
Yeah. So, and it was like when we moved here, we didn't. We stayed at the in-laws' place for a wee while, so I had to pack enough knitting projects for that because all our other stuff was in storage until we found a house. So, so I understand that. I get that.
Yep.
There's so much on the way.
Number one priority. Yeah. Like he was packing the motorcycles and he's like, we need to have rain gear. We need to have, our extra footwear. We need to have this. We need to have that, whatever. And I come out with my bag and then my knitting bag. And he's like, really? I'm like, mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. That's a great story. Okay, so I have one more question, if that's all right.
Sure.
A random one. So how did you hear about Woolswap?
Social media.
Yeah, cool.
Total social media. It was on Instagram, and I'm trying, scrolling through, and it's like this pops up, and I'm like, okay, what's this? So I kept digging. I dug in a little bit more. I'm like, oh, this is something I definitely want to get into. Like this is, yeah. So a couple of my friends who are not yarnies, they're not knitters or any of that stuff, whatever. And every time I get my Woolswap buddy, I'm like, guess where my buddy's from right now?
Cool.
I've had them from Quebec, and another one was from Oceanside, New York. And I Googled it.
Yeah.
And I looked up
And
her little town and I'm like, that is the most gorgeous little town that I could ever, like, it is beautiful where she lives. And I'm like,
I
I
know
need
the
to go visit
person.
her.
I know the person you're talking about. And she's lovely, lovely. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like, wow, like her little, like her place, her little town is like, okay, this needs to go on my vacation list. Like we need to go there, right? So yeah, it was gorgeous. So,
Um,
but yeah, no, it was social media and
yeah.
yeah, love it.
So how I started Woolswap, because I'm not sure you know this story, is that when we decided to go on our big trip, because I was, and I still do work. I work 2 days a week in insurance, but I was,
Mhm.
at the time I was working full time, but I was able to take a year off. And Dean, my partner, said, well, maybe we should, because he was working online. He does online stuff, has his own business. So he was able to work while we were traveling. And he said, well, maybe you could do some online thing. And I thought, oh. But anyway, a few months before we went, I did join another yarn swap. And I thought, well, this is kind of a cool idea. And it's like for me, because I actually, I do a bit of pen paling, like write letters to people around the world. And I thought, well, this is like the pen paling for yarn lovers.
Yep.
So I said, I'm going to do this. So I'd hunted around, found the name. And when I first started, I got, so I wanted to do it when we were traveling because I can do it anywhere in the world. My first swap, I got like 12 people and I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I got 12 people. They were from all different parts of the world. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And yeah, it's like you with your dyeing. It's kind of like my passion because I love introducing people. I like meeting people myself. And I have met on my travels a few wool swappers in person. And then I've made friends with a lot online. So yeah, I love it because I feel like I'm bringing all these people together and it's something that they all enjoy. And yeah, so
It's beautiful. It's, like I've made some friends that I've never ever would like I randomly get messages and it's like, so I have a couple and their names are the same as a couple of my friends. I'm like, why is she sending me this? And then I go, oh yeah, right, it's my wool swap friend, But I have gotten I didn't realize that there was all these free patterns on Ravelry because my friend from Quebec keeps just sending every time there's a free pattern, she just sends me the link. I'm like, oh, that's where, okay, perfect, So
yeah,
I don't have the time to go looking for all these free patterns, but she
yeah,
does and she
yeah,
just sends them my
yeah,
way. And I'm like, perfect.
yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Well, those were all my questions. So thank you so much for
Thank you for doing this because I love this little community. It's I love the fact that it's worldwide and we're all just, here supporting each other and just enjoying beautiful craft
yeah.
because there's some amazing designers and dyers out there and
Yeah,
knitters. Like
yeah,
it's yeah, what I've been seeing coming through is the work is just beautiful.
yeah. It's great that it's all small businesses and
Yeah.
we're all doing stuff we love. That's what I
Well,
like.
yeah, and it's the passion. It's the
Yeah.
love of it is
Yep.
exactly what it is. Yeah. So
Because they should always say to follow your passion, right?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So
Right. Cool. Thank you. Hi everyone, back again. Well, I hope you enjoyed that lovely chat that I had with Cindy, and I do encourage you to go and check out her store because she does have some fabulous yarns. So, and also some exciting news. And I can't tell you too much about it, but we are doing a collaboration where she's going to dye an exclusive colorway, exclusive for Woolswap, and this will be available to only the Woolswap members who sign up for the March round. So if you're interested, and I will be putting some spoilers out soon on my socials, so stay tuned for that. So if you're interested in that, you'd better sign up. Anyway, I'll say bye for now, and you never know who I'll be talking to in the next Woolswap Chat. Bye.